I want to say thank you for everyone coming out to my talk today. Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Perfect. So I'm going to present on my PhD research that I did. And you see a couple pictures on the screen, medical tourism and a picture of the world and a stethoscope. So broadly, to situate my research, I'm looking at individuals leaving Canada for a variety of different medical treatments, and that's called medical tourism in the literature. And so Canadians could go abroad for a variety of different reasons, for knee replacements, dental surgery, cosmetic surgery, stem cell treatments, particularly what are known as experimental stem cell treatments. And for this talk and for my PhD, I narrowed down the focus to specifically look at Canadians going abroad for fertility treatments. So leaving the Canadian healthcare system and going to another country to hire a woman to become a surrogate, or pay a woman to provide her eggs, sperm, purchasing of eggs and sperm. So I'm specifically going to talk about that subset within the larger practice of medical tourism, of people going abroad for a variety of reasons. And so reproductive tourism is individuals traveling to another country to obtain fertility treatments. And I specifically look at how health services and non-health services are marketed on medical broker and fertility clinic websites. And on these websites, there are a lot of different people that come together on these websites. So you'll have travel agents, fertility specialists, the medical brokers, hospital personnel, insurance and pharmaceutical companies, hospitality workers, and also it also brings together Canadians who wish to purchase the labor and care of women who agree to become surrogates, and also purchase eggs and sperm. And so these websites bring together a lot of different people, and I view this as a business, because the players involved in this practice, the medical brokers and the fertility clinics, are privately owned, looking to make a profit, and the fertility clinics, especially in other countries, are located in private for-profit hospitals. So the main emphasis for these companies is that the more services we sell, the more treatments we sell, the potential of making a profit. So I view it as a business. Why would Canadians go abroad for fertility treatments in the first place? Well, there could be long wait lists here. Regulations that ban certain practices like sex selection, paid surrogacy, or egg donation. And in Canada, the Assisted Human Reproduction Act bans commercial surrogacy, egg donation, and sex selection. In Canada, you can be an egg donor or a surrogate, you just can't get paid for it. That's what they call altruistic surrogacy and altruistic egg donation. You just don't get paid for it, but you can be an egg donor and a surrogate here in Canada. But if you want to hire a woman to do this, it's illegal. If you want to pay and enter into a financial contract, you can't do it. The other reason is moral codes prohibit individuals, such as single people, gays, transgendered, lesbians, from attaining new reproductive technologies. And some countries around the world ban gay and lesbian individuals for accessing this treatment, so they will leave their home countries to access treatment in other countries. And the types of new reproductive technologies that you can obtain in other countries is artificial insemination, like getting inseminated with sperm. In vitro fertilization, which is basically taking a woman's egg, a man's sperm, fertilizing it in a petri dish and creating the embryo, and that gets implanted back in the woman's uterus. Surrogacy egg and sperm donation, egg freezing, and sex selection of the embryos, where you could do genetic testing of the embryo, and if it's female or male, you could destroy the embryo and not get it implanted. The most popular countries participating in reproductive tourism around the globe, Mediterranean countries, Malta, Cyprus, Africa, South Africa more specifically, South and Central America, Costa Rica, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Asia. One of the big players is Thailand specifically, India, and Eastern European countries, Hungary, Romania, Poland, and the Czech Republic, and also should be on this list is the US. That people go down to the, travel across the border into the US to get fertility treatments as well. And so if you're thinking about going abroad for treatments, for fertility treatments, how do you do this? How do you enter into this market? Well, there's two primary ways. One is the websites of fertility clinics located in hospitals. So these you could do an internet search and type in fertility clinic in the country you want to go to, and it'll pop up, a website will pop up. Or you could look at websites of medical broker companies. And what these are companies, private companies, that act as go-betweens to connect you to a fertility clinic in another country. So they act as a go-between. So you contact them, and they will get you in contact with a fertility clinic. They will help you obtain visas to go to that country. They will transfer over your patient records. They will book tourist packages. So they act as a go-between. But also the websites, fertility clinics also do booking of airfares, arranging of visas. They also do that as well. And they book tourist packages. So on these websites, it's a website that not only lists the services they provide, the medical services, the fertility treatments they provide, but also tourist services. They'll advertise that they employ travel agents. They'll advertise that they employ people specializing in arranging visas to go in another country if you have to stay longer. Maybe you're staying for a month. And there are a variety of people that they advertise as being hired, that they work at the clinic or the medical broker company. And Canadians can contact medical brokers and fertility clinics by telephone, email, instant messaging, and Skype. So when you go on the website, they'll have Contact Us button, and you click on that, and you can see the variety of ways how you could contact them. And when you click on that button, it also can show you the free consultation. So you could contact us first, tell us the issue that you're having in terms of fertility treatment, what is going on, the diagnosis, what treatment you wish to have available, and then they'll write you back, or you schedule a Skype call, or you do instant messaging. And I wanted to show you first, this is a screenshot of a medical broker company located in South Africa. And usually the websites have similar design of the front pages, where they have a link that talks about describing who they are, who's employed here, the surgical procedures they offer, the care. This one calls bliss packages, so you could purchase all-inclusive packages for getting your fertility treatment and also going on a holiday. And I just want to pay attention to the very top screen. Surgical Bliss is a medical tourism company that offers surgery in South Africa, medical accommodation, and a post-surgery holiday. And for me, it's really interesting at how they're juxtaposing surgery, the experience of receiving surgery, medical treatment, and having a blissful holiday. And for me, that's really interesting, because it's, for any one of us, when we think of having surgery, when we're having medical treatment, and with the fertility treatments in particular, they're serious. That's not something to taken lightly. And they're trying to market having surgery and medical treatment while you are experiencing a holiday. So I just wanted to show you what a medical broker website looks like in another country. This is a website of a fertility clinic specifically in Argentina. So this is a website of a fertility clinic. And again, they have who they are. They have a tab that talks about the assisted reproduction, the treatments that you could have, the testimonial pages that will display patient testimonials, frequently asked questions, fees, travel info, and how to contact them. And for me, one of the aims that the websites want to try and do is make people feel comfortable traveling abroad for fertility treatment. Through their marketing strategies, their branding, their framing of the issue, they are going to try to convince you to leave the Canadian healthcare system and go abroad. So the tagline here is the right fertility approach. We combine fertility treatments with sincere, personal, and professional care. Our goal is to make you feel confident about undergoing fertility treatments abroad. So it's really trying to normalize the message that it's okay to go abroad for treatments, fertility treatments. It's okay to do it, trying to normalize it and make patients feel comfortable entertaining this idea. And that's what the websites are geared towards. They're geared towards providing information for patients to use to make them feel comfortable and at ease about going to do this. So I just wanted to give you a slide about, for my research, it is grounded in a specific theoretical perspective. And the theory that I chose to use guides me on the types of questions I ask in my research. It's going to guide me on how I interpret what I see on the websites. Because how I interpret these websites and the questions I ask and what I emphasize is going to be different for different people. Even when I show you the pictures now, the pictures of the websites, the pictures that I'm going to show you of women, how you view them is going to be different from how I am. And I'm offering you a specific interpretation that is grounded in a specific method and grounded in a specific theory. And so that theory is important to me because it's going to guide me throughout this whole research. So I used a feminist political economy approach that situates the practice of reproductive tourism within a particular historical, economic, and political context. And what that means is that I really wanted to understand why this practice of reproductive tourism is happening now, under what economic context, what is happening that is kind of pushing this practice forward. People are having more access to the internet, how we talk about healthcare, how we frame it, what are the economic situations surrounding healthcare tourism. So I wanted to know what are the contexts that are surrounding this, how is this coming to be? And it offers me, the feminist political economy approach offers me a way to see inequalities that occur on basis of gender, race, class, age, geography, citizenship status, and sexuality. And this becomes very important for me because Canadians are going abroad to many different countries, and some of those countries are located in developing countries. And they are going to hire women to become surrogates in developing countries who may live in poverty and may choose to become surrogates for specific reasons. And I'm really interested in looking at health equity and people's access to health care, and what are the implications of people traveling to other countries for health care in other countries where their own citizens may not have access to health care. Well, I use Google, and I use some of the search engines, and I just put in keyword searches looking for fertility clinics abroad. I would put fertility clinic in Barbados or fertility clinic in India, or I would look at type in Canadian medical brokers, and when you do a Google search, companies will come up, websites will come up, and I started clicking on them. And I looked at about 33 websites that were located in Canada, medical broker websites in Canada. I looked at US and internationally, and I looked about 33 websites. And I did a thematic content analysis of the images, videos, and text. I looked at the websites holistically, and then I started segmenting the website down into different segments in different parts. So I looked at their mission statements, then I would look at the patient testimonial sections, and then I would look at their services offers page. And I also had to deal with looking at the images and videos. So then I would look at the images separately and together, and then I would also look at the videos. I went back and forth to these 33 websites, back and forth all the time. And I also tried to group themes into genres. So on the websites, they'll have pictures of photography, tourist photography, or they'll have newspaper articles on the websites highlighted, or the use of blogs. For me, studying the websites had certain challenges because I wasn't used to studying the websites. How does one go study a website? So one of the challenges is how the researcher and the user, reproductive tourist in this view the website is different. And it's key that my background and my experiences shape my analysis, and this goes back to the theory. How I view the perspective that I have, the assumptions that I have, the values that I have are going to in part shape how I see these websites. Just like how you're going to interact with the pictures, your values and experiences are going to shape how you interpret them. Websites are not static but multimedia. So there's hyperlinks, videos, images, and text and blogs. And so as a researcher, in my past experience, I was used to analyzing interviews. But how does one analyze a video? How does one analyze a video and right next to it a picture and then text? So how do you break down a video and analyze that in a systematic way? So that was new for me as well. And reproductive tourists are actively involved in selecting which text to view and which order to view them. So when you interact with a website, you are free to click on any part of that website you choose. So you may want to search out services offered first. You may go to the patient testimonial page. And so however you search that website is actually going to shape what you see and how you interpret it. So it's just not a static line-by-line analysis of text. It's more interactive. And so what did I find? Reproductive tourists are depicted as empowered consumers able to make informed decisions. So they frame the information that they offer on the website is to empower informed patients. Patients are seen as self-empowered consumers making savvy choices who actively manage their care. And so you get the message over and over again that patients are empowered. If we give them enough information on the websites, they could choose which fertility treatments they want, where they want it, and how they want it, without the necessary consultation of physicians and fertility specialists. And it does have the language of collaborative. It's supposed to have collaborative partnership between physicians and healthcare consumers. But I think for me, the emphasis is on that empowered consumer, that you're able to make those choices on your own without the consulting of medical professionals. And so this is the front page of a Canadian medical broker company located in Alberta. And they're called International Healthcare Providers. Canadia's leading concierge medical tourism company, providing you with the most innovative healthcare excellence at the destination of your choice. And that's when I talk about healthcare discourses. Because we talk about innovation, we talk about healthcare excellence, and they're using those words, those terminology, that discourse to sell you, to convince you to go abroad. And I want to make it the point that you don't know who you're going to talk to when you contact the medical brokers. They may or may not be employing health professionals, physicians and doctors. Because with this medical broker company in Alberta, the two key people running this company is Claudio, he's the director. Claudio is a proven brand builder and a leading expert loyalty on reward programs. He is not a healthcare professional. And then Denise is in marketing, and she's the founder of Marketing Matters Canada. And so why I'm showing you this is that when you contact the medical brokers' sites, you may be thinking that you're contacting a nurse, a physician, not necessarily. You may be contacting people who do not even work in healthcare, that have different expertise. And I think this shows that the main push for this website is the marketing and branding, not specifically talking about medical treatment. Reproductive tourism marketing spin. Canadian regulations limit consumer choice. So the websites, the marketing has to try to convince Canadians to go abroad for a reason. And one of the ways they do this is they talk about regulations. So this is a US medical broker that helps Canadians travel to India, Thailand, and Mexico. And they state, we believe in borderless medicine and patient empowerment. A patient should have the freedom to choose where they get their health care, whether it's across state lines or across the globe. A patient should have the right to the latest innovations in medicine without being constrained by regulations that might exist to prevent competition rather than harm. So it's seen as, regulations are seen as bad, as hindering patient choice, not ensuring safety, but hindering patient choice. They also try to market the reproductive tourism as an opportunity to leave a dysfunctional Canadian healthcare system. The websites often portray Canadian healthcare system as dysfunctional, impersonal, overwhelmed with wait times. And this is a quote from Patient Beyond Borders, which is a US medical broker. Out-of-pocket medical costs of critical and elective procedures continue to rise, while nations offering universal care like Canada are faced with ever-increasing resource burdens. These drivers are forcing patients to pursue cross-border healthcare options, either to save money or to avoid long wait lists for treatment. And they use words like you're treated like a number, you don't have access to care in a timely manner, and they use these phrasings over and over on the websites. And this is a screenshot of the medical broker from the US, the Patients Beyond Borders. And so they have a tagline up at top, the most trusted resource in medical travel. And it's a medical broker website that specializes in different medical treatments, including infertility, but also in different treatments. And they have, the screenshot says, affordable excellence, thousands like you are learning how to access cutting edge, exceptional care at 30 to 70% of the cost of the savings. And they also, on the right, they have, as seen in the US newspapers, articles. Another finding that I had is that when they talked about fertility clinics treatments that you're going to receive, the international treatments, fertility clinics will customize your treatments to meet your needs. Medical travels claim to enable reproductive tourists to choose the types of unregulated fertility treatments they want. And this is a key because The fertility treatments in other countries like the U.S. and India and Thailand, they will advertise that they will implant multiple embryos in a surrogate to increase the chances of getting pregnant, which doesn't happen here in Canada. They will advertise paying surrogates at a cheaper price or at a premium to get what you want, the type of characteristics you want. The choice of they also advertise that you have the choice, the location, the time of year, and the amenities you want. So the patient in this instance, the consumer, is in charge. They get to select the treatments they want, where they want it, and when they want it. Without the patient is in the driver's seat here. And I came across with a tagline that they have on the website: medical hospitality at its best. We treat you like family. I also talked about the round-the-clock care that you will receive. That if you go down to a fertility clinic in another country, you will get round-the-clock care. You will get the numbers of cell phone numbers of your nurse. You'll be able to contact her day and night. Whereas in Canada, that doesn't happen. They'll advertise. And they also talk about how let us take on your stress so that you can stay focused on yourself and what matters most to you, the treatment. We handle everything to serve you every need, any time or day or night. They also market going abroad as easy in linear steps. You contact us, you'll talk with us, we'll arrange your patient records to go down for the fertility clinic in another country, we'll book your airfare, we'll book your hotel package, and you're all ready to go. And I'm saying that doesn't happen. It's not that easy. And on the websites, they have a disclaimers or disclosures link, and it's at the very bottom of all the websites, and you click on that, and it has a protection that says this is information only, is for educational purposes only. And if you choose to go use a medical broker or a fertility clinic in another country, they will ask you to sign a waiver before you leave for medical treatment. And I'm not a legal person or lawyer. I don't know if it's legally binding, but it says that if you go use those services and you go abroad for treatment, you cannot sue the medical broker or for the fertility clinic abroad. You sign away that right. And I don't know, legally I don't know if that will stand, but you're asked to sign a waiver. And they also market the experience of a luxury vacation while you're receiving treatments. And I talked to this a little bit before, where one can relax in paradise of white sandy beaches, tourist information of 5-star resorts, sightseeing tours, and you can experience exotic safaris and pampering spa packages. And one of the things, there are a lot of websites out there, so they have to stand out. And one of the ways they stand out is through branding. So one of the branding messages that comes out from Barbados Fertility Clinic is that they will brand their white sandy beaches, and they will brand experiencing a luxury hotel on a beach. And this is the front page of a fertility clinic in Barbados, advertising their services, and it's patient-centered care, patient-centered fertility treatment in paradise with less stress. So again, you're seeing the message marketing of connecting medical treatment while on vacation. Medical treatment and luxury. Medical treatment, access to 24/7 care. This is the medical broker in South Africa, and they advertise spa packages, golf packages, and safari packages. And I'm just gonna kind of go a little bit forward because I'm running a bit out of time. But on these websites, they will also have a link to patient testimonials. They are vented, in terms of what I mean by that is that a medical broker website or a fertility clinic website is never going to put a negative review or experience on the website. So I was interested in what happens as a consumer, as a patient, when you go to these websites and you start reading patient testimonials over and over and over again that are always positive. Because they're always successful. They talk about how a couple's having difficulty having a baby, their sadness, the distress, and they talk about contacting a fertility clinic or a medical broker abroad. They've gone abroad for fertility treatments, and then they're able to have a baby. This is a successful story, and so it gives a skewed picture of the success rates of reproductive technologies as high, increased success rates, high success rates, because as a patient you're constantly reading success stories about these fertility treatments and how if you go to Barbados they're very successful in getting women pregnant, so why don't I go down there? So that I also looked at patient testimonials, and they come in the form of text and they come in the form of video. So you could click on these videos and you'll see couples talking about their experiences of having a baby, successfully having a baby. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to talk about what's not communicated on the medical and broker, what is not communicated on the websites. And I'm just going to talk about briefly, they don't talk about the severity of the fertility treatments that you're experiencing. And when I say severity, I mean they don't provide context in terms of the diagnosis that you go through and the medical maze you go through trying to diagnose infertility, and what the treatments actually involve, and how your body is monitored daily, how women are injected with fertility drugs, how women have to go through general anesthetic to suck out their eggs, go to harvest their eggs. It's a very, very sterilized image of a fertility treatment that you're getting. They don't talk about the medical side effects. They don't talk about what it's like to actually go through the treatment. They paint it as an easy process, and they skim over any of the medical side effects that individuals may experience. And that's not communicated on these websites. So when we talk about patients being empowered and trying to understand what is on these websites, the information that's on these websites is incomplete. They're not giving a true picture of what the fertility treatments are like and what women undergo to receive those treatments. I explained this. I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I want to get you to this part. The care and labor of women women do as egg providers and surrogates are minimized. So when they advertise that you're able to purchase eggs, sperm, or purchase a woman to become a surrogate, they always minimize the work that's involved. They don't talk about the side effects of this treatment either. And they advertise the egg donors as being screened to ensure they produce high quality eggs, and surrogates are screened to ensure they are healthy enough to give birth to a baby. This is a screenshot. This is a screenshot of a medical broker that specializes in surrogacy and egg donation. Delivering babies from heaven. They have the most beautiful and accomplished donors. And a quote from that website. So just that picture of that website, and this is a quote from her, the owner of that website, eggdonation.com, and she says, "Intended parents frequently ask us for presenting them with spectacular donors. The number of donors who qualify for this program is limited because we choose only super donors with outstanding fertility who make a large number of high-quality blastocytes and have extremely desirable qualifications. An attractive, intelligent, accomplished woman who has a kind and caring heart. So it's marketed to, it's marketed to intended parents that you're purchasing high-quality eggs. What doesn't matter are the women who are providing those eggs. All that matters is that she can produce high-quality eggs and blastocytes. This is a picture of their donor angels. And I should say that to view the donor profile, to view a donor profile, you have to pay. You have to contact and pay a fee to get her full profile. And I just want to say women's bodies are monitored because when you enter an agreement to donate your eggs or become a surrogate, your body and your behavior is monitored. And this is another quote from eggdonation.com. She states, once a pregnancy is attained, the surrogate is closely monitored throughout her pregnancy. She attends all the ultrasounds and tests as previously determined in her agreement with intended parents. Her continued health and overall care is of the utmost importance, and surrogates is continuously monitored to ensure the pregnancy is carried well. This is a picture of the U.S. surrogate. I'm going to fast forward this because I don't have a lot of time, but I want you to pay attention to this picture of how she's posed, relaxing on the couch. She's smiling, and she has to have a willingness to allow recipient parents to make medical choices, and a willingness to allow recipient parents to participate in the pregnancy and birth. So she has to be open to actually become a docile worker, to have her sign a financial contract that says that her autonomy doesn't exist. What the intended parents want during the pregnancy, they get. I want to fast forward to this picture. Oops, because I'm running out of time. Canadians travel abroad to different countries, and one of the countries they travel to is India. In the last picture, you saw the picture of the whole woman. You saw her whole face. You saw her relaxing on a couch. She was smiling. She was relaxed. You see this image. This is an image from a picture of a surrogate on an Indian website, fertility clinic in India. We don't see the top of her head. We don't see her whole body. All we see is that she's able to carry pregnancy. She's healthy enough to carry pregnancy. We see different shades of brown bodies. And I want to make the emphasis here is that one of the reasons why you don't see their heads, their faces, is that in the context of India, surrogacy, becoming a surrogate, is stigmatized. Women who choose to become surrogates live in poverty, and they choose to become surrogates to earn money for their families. And so what happens here are these surrogates are actually leave their own communities, leave their families, and go to a fertility clinic, get impregnated, become a surrogate. If they become pregnant, and they're housed in hostels. And this is a picture of a hostel. So all these women are Indian surrogates, and they get room and board, they get fed, they get access to medical care. They get access to medical care only when they're pregnant. After they deliver the baby, they return to their home countries, where many of them don't have access to regular health care. And the reason why they get access to health care here is because to ensure that the fetus is developing properly and they're able to give birth to a healthy baby for a couple living in North America or Europe, in the UK, Australia, Canada, US. And so I just want to end on that note because I think I'm out of time, and I just wanted to quickly get to this image. Oh, and my conclusion, that quickly, the conclusion is that these websites market to try to convince Canadians to leave abroad. It's a glossy promotional package. They use healthcare discourses, taglines like innovation, patient-centered care, personalization of healthcare to market their services abroad. They promote private for-profit hospitals receiving care, and while the Canadian healthcare system is impersonal, so you get this idea that a public healthcare system is bad, impersonal, cannot offer proper care, versus a private for-profit hospital system that can offer tailored medical treatment to suit your needs. And so you get two different pictures of public versus private. Portrayal of risks and benefit leaves an overall impression that reproductive tourism and fertility treatments are safe and readily available to individuals. And it also, this practice has, in terms of commercializing women's bodies and exploiting their bodies as well. Different depending on where these women are located and who are egg donors and surrogates. And that's it. Thank you.